There is a monster that lives under your bed. It wakes you up at 3 a.m. It makes your chest tight. It ruins your relationships. It eats your peace of mind, and it drinks your future. It is not a ghost. It is debt. In the first video, we built the accumulation protocol to grow wealth. In the second video, we built the guardian protocol to protect it. But for many of you, listening to those protocols felt like watching a feast while you are starving through a locked window. You say to me, "Victor, I cannot save 10%. I cannot invest. I am drowning." You check your bank account and you feel sick. You see the red numbers. You see the interest compounding against you. You feel like a slave to the bank, a slave to the credit card company, a slave to your past mistakes. If that is you, listen closely. Today we are going to break the chains. We are going to deconstruct the story of Dabasir, the Camel Trader of Babylon. We are going to learn how he went from a hopeless slave in the Syrian desert to a wealthy, free man. And we are going to deploy a specific mathematical system to kill your debt without starving yourself. This is not just about money. This is about dignity. Welcome to the Liberation Protocol. To cure debt, we must first understand the soul of the debtor. We must understand the psychology that leads a free man to put chains on his own wrists. Dabasir was not always a wealthy camel trader. As a young man, he was a saddle maker. He had a good wife. He had a good trade. He was skilled with his hands. He could have built a modest, comfortable life. But he had a weakness that lives in many of us today. He wanted the fine things of life, and he wanted them now. He looked at the wealthy merchants walking through the bazaars of Babylon with their gold rings and silk robes, and he felt envious. He did not see the years of work that bought those robes. He only saw the result. He told himself, "I work hard. I deserve these things too." So he started to buy things he could not afford. He bought beautiful embroidered robes so he would look successful to his peers. He bought jewelry for his wife so she would feel loved, and so he would feel like a provider. He bought exotic foods and threw lavish dinners for friends who only liked him for his generosity. He spent more than he earned, trusting that future Dabasir would figure it out. He told himself the great lie of the debtor. Next month will be better. Next month I will earn more. Next month I will pay it back. But debt is a trap. It starts as a warm bath, comforting and easy. The credit card swipe feels like power. The loan feels like free money. But slowly, the water temperature rises. Soon, the lenders came knocking. At first, they were polite. They just wanted a small payment. Then, they were demanding. They wanted interest. Finally, they were angry. They threatened to take his shop, his tools, his home. Dabasir did what most people in debt do. He didn't face it. He entered the denial cycle. He stopped looking at his ledger. He stopped answering the door. He blamed the economy. He blamed his customers. He blamed his wife for spending too much, even though he was the one buying the gifts. He ran away. He abandoned his wife to face the shame alone. He abandoned his city. He sought a new life where no one knew his name. But you cannot outrun your own incompetence. You cannot run away from your own shadow. Without a system, without a change in character, Dabasir made the same mistakes in the new lands. And in the harsh desert, weakness is fatal. He was captured by robbers. They stripped him of his fine robes. They took his freedom. They sold him as a slave to a Syrian master. I want you to visualize this. The man who bought silk robes on credit was now wearing rags. The man who refused to save a copper coin was now owned by another man. For years, Dabasir lived as an animal. He groomed camels in the heat. He slept in the dirt. He ate scraps thrown to the dogs. He had no freedom. He had no dignity. He was property. The debt he had run away from had finally manifested in reality. He was now a literal slave, and here is the hard truth. If you are working a job you hate just to pay the interest on your credit cards, you are not so different from Dabasir. You are sleeping in a nicer bed, but your time belongs to the bank. One day, One of his master's wives, a woman named Sira, looked at him. She saw something in his eyes. She saw intelligence buried under the shame. She asked him a question that would change his life. She asked, "Are you a free man in your soul, or are you a slave?" Dabasir stood up straight and replied, "I am a free man." She laughed at him. She said, "If you have the soul of a free man, why are you here? Why do you not fight for your debts? Why did you run?" She told him, "If a man has within him the soul of a slave, he will sink to be a slave no matter his birth. But if he has the soul of a free man, he will become respected and honored in his own city in spite of his misfortune." This question haunted him. Am I a slave? He realized that his debt had made him a slave long before the robbers caught him. He realized that his spending was not a sign of wealth, but a sign of weakness. He decided to escape. He stole 2 camels and rode across the burning desert back to Babylon. He nearly died of thirst. The sun blistered his skin. His tongue swelled in his mouth. He hallucinated. He wanted to give up and die in the sand, but he kept riding. Because he knew that death in the desert was better than life as a slave, he returned to Babylon, and when he returned, he did not hide. He went to every man he owed money to, the rug maker, the gold lender, the spice merchant. He looked them in the eye and said, "I have returned. I have nothing but my 2 hands, but I will pay you every copper coin. I have a plan. This is the first step of the liberation protocol. You must stop hiding. You must look the monster in the face. If you are ignoring the phone calls from the bank, you are acting like a slave. If you are throwing the bills in the trash unopened, you are acting like a slave. If you are afraid to check your banking app, you are acting like a slave. A free man faces his obligations. A free man owns his past so he can build his future. The moment you admit exactly where you are no longer lost. You are just at the starting line. Now, let's talk about the mechanics. How did Dabasir pay off a mountain of debt while he was broke? Did he starve himself? No. Did he give 100% of his income to the creditors? No. Carve and Dabasir teach a counterintuitive truth. This is the secret that most modern financial gurus get wrong. They tell you to live on rice and beans. They tell you to suffer. They tell you to put every single penny towards the debt. But Carve disagrees. He says, "You cannot pay off debt if you destroy your ability to live. If you send every penny to Visa and MasterCard, you will have no money for food. You will have no money for joy. You will get frustrated. You will feel deprived. You will quit. And when the car breaks down or you need new shoes, you will use the credit card again. It is a cycle of failure. It is a yo-yo diet for your money." Dabasir created a system written on clay tablets. In modern terms, we call this the 20-70-10 rule. This is the algorithm of freedom. It balances your past, your present, and your future. Here is the math. Part 1. 10% is yours to keep. Yes, you heard me correctly. Even if you are in debt, even if you owe thousands of dollars, you must save 10% of your income for your fortress account. This sounds crazy. Why save earning 5% interest when you are paying 20% interest on a credit card? Because this is not a math problem. It is a psychological problem. If you pay everyone else, the landlord, the grocer, the bank, and keep nothing for yourself, you are a slave. You are working for everyone but you. You need to build the habit of wealth. You need to see a pile of gold growing. When you have savings, you walk differently. You have confidence. It gives you hope capital. When you see that balance grow from 0 to 1,000 to 2,000, you start to believe that you are a person who has money. This identity shift is more important than the interest rate arbitrage. Keep the 10th. Do not touch it. Protect it like a tiger protecting her cub. Part 2. 70% is for your living expenses. You must live on 70% of what you earn. Rent, food, clothes, transport, family, entertainment. Everything fits here. This is the reality check. If your life currently costs more than 70% of your income, you do not have a debt problem. You have a lifestyle problem. You are living a lie. This is where the sacrifice happens. Not in the debt payment, but in the lifestyle. Move to a smaller apartment, get a roommate, sell the car with the high payment, and buy a used one. Stop eating at restaurants. Learn to cook. Cancel the subscriptions you don't use. If you cannot fit your life into 70%, you must either cut costs ruthlessly or earn more immediately. There is no third option. This 70% ensures you have a roof over your head and food in your belly. It ensures you can continue to work and earn without the stress of starvation. Part 3. 20% is for the creditors. This is the magic number. You take 20% of your income and you divide it among everyone you owe. This is your hard limit. You do not pay more. You do not pay less. You go to your creditors and you say, I can only pay you this much, but I will pay you regularly. Every month, you will get your share. Most creditors will agree. Why? Because they prefer steady payment over no payment. They prefer a man with a plan over a man who runs away. They know that if they push you too hard, you will go bankrupt and they will get zero. 20% is sustainable. You can keep this up for years if necessary. Let's operationalize this. We are going to use the clay tablet strategy in the real world. Here is your execution plan. Step 1, the list. I want you to write down every single debt you have. List the name of the creditor, the total amount owed, the interest rate, and the minimum payment. Do not hide anything. Drag the monster into the light. Sum it up. Look at the total number. It might be $50,000. It might be $500,000. It doesn't matter. It is finite. It is just a number. It is not your soul. Once you name the demon, you can kill it. Step 2. Calculate your 20%. Look at your monthly take-home pay. If you earn $3,000 a month, your debt repayment pot is $600. That is it. $600. That is the hard limit. If your minimum payments are higher than $600, you have a crisis. You cannot pay more without stealing from your life or your future. You need to restructure. Step 3. The negotiation. This is the hardest part, but also the most liberating. You must contact your creditors. Call the bank. Call the credit card company. Call your uncle who lent you money. Do not beg. Do not cry. Negotiate like a partner. You say this: I am restructuring my finances to ensure you get paid in full. I have analyzed my income, and I can allocate this specific amount to you every month. If you accept this, I will set up an automatic payment today. You will receive money every month on the 1st without fail. If you do not accept this, I may be forced into bankruptcy, and you will get nothing. They might argue, they might threaten, they might shout, but eventually, math wins. They want the money. They know that a steady stream of silver is better than a dry well. If they refuse to lower the monthly payment, ask for a hardship program. Ask for an interest rate freeze. Be persistent. Be polite, but be firm. You are Dabasir returning from the desert. You are not begging. You are informing them of the plan. Step 4. The snowball. You take that 20% pot and you attack the debts. Mathematically, it makes sense to pay the highest interest rate first, the avalanche. But psychologically, it is often better to pay the smallest balance first, the snowball. Why? Because you need a win. You need to see a debt hit 0. When you kill a small debt, you take the money you were paying on it, and you add it to the payment for the next debt. The 20% pot stays the same size, but it attacks fewer enemies. Your firepower concentrates. And slowly, brick by brick, the wall of debt crumbles. This system works because it aligns with human nature. The 10% savings gives you hope. It shows you a future where you are rich. The 70% living expenses gives you stability. It keeps you fed and housed. The 20% repayment gives you honor. It clears your name. We do not consume content on this channel. We execute. Here is your challenge for the next 7 days. I want you to carve your own clay tablet. Open a spreadsheet or take a piece of paper. At the top, write your monthly income. Row 1, pay myself. Calculate 10% and move it to your Fortress account immediately. Do not think, just move it. Row 2, living. Calculate 70%. Move this to your checking account. This is all you have for the month. Make it work. Row 3, creditors. Calculate 20%. List your debts and divide this money. Then, make the first payment. Even if it is small, even if it is just $10. The moment you start this system, you are no longer a slave. You are a free man in the process of buying back his freedom. You are Dabasir returning from the desert. You are taking control. Debt is heavy. It crushes the spirit. But there is no feeling in the world like the day you make that final payment. When you can walk down the street and look every man in the eye, knowing you owe nothing to anyone. That is freedom. That is the goal. Dabasir did it in the ancient desert with nothing but determination. You can do it in the modern economy with this system. In the next video, we stop playing defense and start playing offense. We will talk about the 7th cure, increasing thy ability to earn. We will discuss how to double your income by climbing the value ladder. We will talk about why your skills are the ultimate asset and how to stop trading time for money. Class dismissed.